Middle-earth, home to many diverse races, from wizards to hobbits, goblins to dwarves, orcs to elves. Many stories have been created and developed in the world of Tolkien. To delve into the world, you can start here with Dagora TV.
The story of Alatar and Pallando has been disputed within Tolkien's own writing, so we are telling this tale between the early writings and later writings. The idea that there were two other wizards in addition to Gandalf, Saruman and Radagast was first conceived when Saruman in his wrath revealed that there were 5 members of the Order of Wizards. Later, yes, when you, Gandalf, also have the keys to Barad-dûr itself, I suppose, and the crowns of the 7 kings, and the rods of 5 wizards. Tolkien wrote what his son later referred to as the Essay of the Istari, which is where he had first revealed details on the Blue Wizards. There it is said that the chief of the wizards who went north of Middle-earth, there were 5, and 2 of these were in clads sea blue. Little was known about these 2 in the west of Middle-earth. Even their individual names were unknown, but they were known collectively as Ithrin Luin, the Blue Wizards. It is said they travelled into the east with Saruman, but they did not return to the west. Their fate is unknown, but somehow they fell into evil and became servants of Sauron. Tolkien expanded upon this last point in a letter written in 1958. I really did not know anything clearly about the other 2 wizards. Since they do not concern the history of the Northwest, I think they went as Ismaris to different regions, east and south, far out of Númenórean range. Missionaries to enemy-occupied lands, as it were. What success they had I do not know, but I fear that they failed, as Saruman did, though doubtless in different ways, and I suspect they were founders or beginners of secret cults and magic traditions, and they outlasted the fall of Sauron. Tolkien also suggests that only Gandalf returned to Valinor. Wilt thou learn the law? That was a long secret. Of the 5 that came from a far country, only 1 returned. The others never again. In a brief narrative about the Council of the Valar, the origins of the Blue Wizards are placed alongside Man returns to the northwest, but the Blue Wizards do not. Together or independent of each other, Alatar and Pallando fall from their appointed tasks. They may have found magic cults amongst people of the eastern and southern regions, which existed beyond the downfall of the War of the Ring. Towards the end of his life, Tolkien returned to the issue of the Blue Wizards. In a brief outline, he noted that the Blue Wizards were sent to Middle-earth in the Second Age and were destined to disrupt the work of Sauron in the east. Their task was to circumvent Sauron, to bring help to the few tribes of men that had rebelled from Melkor worship, to stir up the rebellion, and after his first fall to search out hiding, in which they had failed, and to cause dissension and disarray among the Dark East. They must have had very great influence on the history of the Second Age and Third Age in weakening and disarraying the forces of the East, who would have both in the Second Age and Third Age otherwise would have outnumbered those in the West. Therefore, Tolkien dramatically altered his conception of the Blue Wizards. They had no longer arrived in Middle-earth along with Saruman, Gandalf and Radagast in Third Age 1000. Instead, they arrived much earlier, much earlier in fact, at roughly the same time as Glorfindel in Second Age 1600. Whilst Glorfindel was tasked with aiding Elrond in the war in Eriador, the Blue Wizards were destined to journey to the east. Tolkien no longer believed they drifted from their mission. Instead, he makes it clear that they played a decisive role in the downfall of Sauron at the end of both the Second Age and the Third Age. They became known as Morientar and Romastamo, Darkness Slayer and East Helper, and were successful in preventing the forces of the East from outnumbering those of the Free People in the West. Based on these later writings, the history in the Blue Wizards can be summarised in the following. The Blue Wizards were sent to Middle-earth at roughly the same time as Glorfindel in Second Age 1600, and similarly at the behest of the Valar. The Year of Dread, when Sauron forged the One Ring and completed the building of Barad-dûr. The Blue Wizards journeyed to the east of Middle-earth, where they remained, and they were not heard or seen of the west of Mordor. There they became known as Morienthar and Romastamo, Darkness Slayer and East Helper. The Blue Wizards were able to hinder Sauron's operations in the east, aiding the defeat of Sauron in the War of the Last Alliance. During the early Third Age and until the end of the Watchful Police, they were tasked with finding where Sauron dwelt. They failed. Morientar and Romastamo ensured the forces in the east did not outnumber the west, thus helping secure victory for the Free Peoples in the War of the Ring. In the next episode of the Middle-earth lore series, learn of one of the oldest beings to ever roam Middle-earth, Gil-galad's right-hand man, and a past elven ring-bearer, Círdan, the Shipwright.